The Bluffle Boffle. Deep in the heart of Wobblewood Forest, where the trees swayed like dancers and the wind always seemed to giggle, lived a creature so peculiar, so wonderfully odd, that even the bravest animals couldn't decide if they were scared or just confused. His name was the Bluffle Boffle. The Bluffle Boffle wasn't particularly big, but he wasn't small either. He had fur as purple as grape jelly, covered in yellow polka dots that glowed in the dark. His feet were enormous, perfect for stomping through puddles, and his ears were shaped like question marks, which always made him look like he was wondering something very important. But the most unusual thing about the Bluffle Boffle? He had a tiny trumpet stuck to the end of his tail. No one knew why. Not even the Bluffle Boffle. The animals planned one sunny morning. News spread across Wobblewood Forest that the Bluffle Boffle was on the move. The mice squeaked nervously, the foxes hid behind bushes, and the rabbits jumped into their burrows. "He's coming this way," whispered a jittery squirrel. "We must come up with a plan." "What plan?" asked Oliver Owl, who was the wisest but also the laziest of the animals. "The Bluffle Boffle is harmless." "Harmless? Have you seen his stompy feet?" said Mrs. Hedgehog. "One stomp could flatten a mushroom, and I live in a mushroom." "And what about that trumpet-tail?" added Freddie Fox. "What if it's a secret laser cannon?" The animals huddled together and decided to trick the Bluffle Boffle into leaving the forest. They would scare him off. A not-so-scary encounter when the Bluffle Boffle arrived. He was humming a cheerful tune. With every step, his trumpet tail let out a little "parp, parp," which made butterflies flutter away in surprise. First up was Mrs. Hedgehog. She rolled herself into a prickly ball and shouted, "Go away, Bluffle Boffle, or I'll poke you with my spikes." The Bluffle Boffle tilted his head, his question mark ears wiggling. "Poke me? Why would you do that? I brought you a present." He pulled out a shiny red apple and rolled it toward Mrs. Hedgehog. She blinked in surprise and muttered, "Thank you," before rolling away in embarrassment. Next, Freddie Fox jumped out from behind a bush, wearing a disguise made of leaves and sticks. "Boo!" he yelled. "I'm a forest monster, and I'll gobble you up." The Bluffle Boffle clapped his fuzzy hands. "Wow! You'd make an amazing actor. Here, have some berries for your performance." Freddie blushed, grabbed the berries, and ran off, feeling slightly silly. Finally, Oliver Owl tried his luck. He flapped down from his tree and hooted, "You don't belong here, Bluffle Boffle. Leave now, or face my owl wisdom." The Bluffle Boffle grinned. "Boo, I love wisdom. Tell me something wise, and I'll bake you a pie." "A pie?" Oliver stammered. Okay. Wise saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away." "Brilliant," said the Bluffle Boffle. "Here's a pie for your effort." He handed Oliver a pie that smelled of cinnamon and happiness. The Bluffle Boffle's secret by now, the animals were gathered in a clearing, scratching their heads. Why wasn't the Bluffle Boffle scared? Why was he being so nice? Just then, the Bluffle Boffle's trumpet tail gave a loud, unexpected toot-toot. Everyone froze. "Oh, sorry about that," said the Bluffle Boffle, blushing. "I get nervous around crowds." "Nervous?" said Mrs. Hedgehog. "You're nervous? But we thought you were trying to scare us." "Scare you? Never," said the Bluffle Boffle. "I just wanted to invite you all to my puddle-stomping party. There'll be pies, music, and, of course, lots of puddles." The animals stared at each other. "A party? That actually sounded fun. The best party ever. By sunset, Wobblewood Forest was filled with laughter. The animals stomped in puddles, their splashes sparkling in the golden light. The Bluffle Boffle played tunes on his trumpet-tail, which turned out to be excellent for music. Mrs. Hedgehog discovered she loved apple pies, Freddie Fox showed off his acting skills, and Oliver Owl danced so hard he lost a feather. From that day on, the Bluffle Boffle wasn't just the peculiar creature with the trumpet tail. He was the heart of Wobblewood Forest, the friend who brought everyone together. And every time his tail let out a cheerful toot-toot, the animals laughed, knowing it was the sound of the best day ever. The end.